Love is a wonderful thing, but it is not always simple. There are moments when you feel like you understand everything, but then there are times when you feel confused and lost. So how to overcome the challenges in love? What makes a man cherish one woman more than any other? It's not just beauty. It's not about being overly sweet or endlessly available. The truth is, what captures a man's heart and earns his lasting respect goes far deeper. It's about presence. It's about how she carries herself, how she speaks, how she makes him feel, not by changing who she is, but by embracing who she truly is. In this powerful breakdown, we'll explore 6 qualities that make a man not just fall in love, but stay in love and never take you for granted. Welcome to the channel, Sophia's Knowledge, and my name is Sophia. This is where we will explore, learn, and share valuable lessons about love. In today's video, Sophia will reveal to you 6 things that make men appreciate you more than any other girl. Let's explore with Sophia the secrets to building a strong and meaningful love. Before we begin, find a quiet place, put on your headphones and relax. Let all your worries go away, and let the messages in this video help you calm down and feel the most complete. Are you ready? Let's start now. Number 1. You know your worth and never beg for love. A woman who knows her worth possesses a quiet strength that commands respect without demanding it. She walks with purpose, speaks with clarity, and loves without losing herself. This quality alone sets her apart from countless others, and it is one of the deepest reasons why a man will cherish her more than any other woman he has known. When a woman truly understands her value, she does not chase after affection or approval. She does not try to prove she is good enough for someone else. Instead, she radiates the inner belief that she is already enough. This is not arrogance, it is confidence rooted in self-awareness. It's knowing that her presence is a gift, and anyone who cannot see that simply is not meant to stay. Men are deeply drawn to this kind of self-assurance. They may not always articulate it, but they respect a woman who doesn't need them to validate her. A woman who won't beg for attention, who won't settle for breadcrumbs, becomes unforgettable. She stands out in a world where many compromise their dignity in the name of love. There is a common misconception that the more a woman gives, sacrifices, and bends for a man, the more he will love her. But love is not a transaction. When giving becomes begging, and kindness turns into self-erasure, the relationship loses balance. A man may accept the effort, but he will not value it if it comes from desperation. What men truly admire is a woman who gives from a place of strength, not need. A woman who knows her worth will walk away when she is not respected. She will not plead for someone to choose her. She understands that love must be mutual, and respect is not optional. Her boundaries are firm, not because she wants to push others away, but because she respects herself too much to let someone treat her poorly. This kind of woman inspires a man to rise. She does not demand that he becomes better, her presence alone challenges him to become the best version of himself. Not because she nags or pressures, but because he knows she has options. He knows she won't wait around for half-love. She expects the same effort she gives, and because she never begs, her love feels like a privilege, not an entitlement. When a man realizes that a woman has the strength to walk away at any moment without fear, it shakes something inside him. He understands that she cannot be manipulated. She will not stay just because she is afraid of being alone. She would rather be at peace by herself than in a relationship where she is not truly valued. This type of woman also does not compete with other women. She doesn't see love as a battlefield where she has to outshine someone else. She knows that the right person will never make her feel like she has to fight for a place in his life. Her energy is calm, steady, and unbothered. She does not beg because she knows begging is beneath her. And yet, she is not cold or detached. She loves deeply. She cares with intensity. But all of it comes from a full heart, not an empty one. She gives without losing herself, and that's what makes her so powerful. She can be soft and strong at the same time. Vulnerable yet firm. Loving yet unafraid to walk away. A man who experiences this kind of woman will never forget her. Even if they part ways, her strength leaves a lasting impression. She teaches him what true self-respect looks like. She shows him what it means to be loved without conditions but also without losing boundaries. And if he is wise enough to recognize her value, he will not just love her, he will cherish her, protect her, and grow with her. In a world full of noise and competition, a woman who stands tall in her truth is a rare gem. She does not need to scream to be heard. Her silence, when disrespected, speaks louder than any argument. Her ability to leave without hatred is more powerful than staying in pain. And her choice to love from abundance, not scarcity, makes her unforgettable. So if you are this woman, or striving to become her, remember this: your worth is not up for negotiation. You were never meant to convince someone to see your value. You were meant to be with someone who recognizes it on their own. Do not dim your light to be seen. The right one will see you even when you're standing quietly in your power. And that, above all, is what makes a man respect and treasure you more than anyone else. What do you think about this? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. I look forward to hearing from you and discussing further. Don't forget to like if you find this content useful and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future posts. Thank you very much. Let's continue together. Number 2. You don't control him, but you make him want to stay. There is something deeply captivating about a woman who gives a man the freedom to choose, yet makes him want to choose her every single day. She doesn't chase, she doesn't cling, and she certainly doesn't control. And in that very freedom, a powerful magnetism is born. It's not force that keeps him by her side, it's desire. A man feels truly alive when he's with a woman who respects his autonomy. She doesn't monitor his every move, demand constant updates, or try to control where he goes and who he talks to. She doesn't suffocate him with expectations. Instead, she offers trust. And in giving him space to breathe, she gives him space to love her more. This woman understands that love is not about ownership. She knows that a real connection is not built by gripping tighter, but by letting go with grace. She trusts herself enough to trust the man she chooses. She believes that if he truly values her, he will honor that freedom by staying, not because he has to, but because he wants to. Men are naturally drawn to women who are secure enough to not need to control everything. It shows maturity. It shows emotional intelligence. It tells him that she is not operating from fear or insecurity, but from self-assurance and peace. And when he sees that, he feels more drawn to her, more loyal, more committed, not out of guilt or pressure, but out of genuine love. A woman like this creates a safe space, not through control, but through her presence. She listens without judgment, gives advice without forcing it, and encourages him without making him feel small. He doesn't feel like he's constantly being evaluated or managed. Instead, he feels like he can be fully himself. And in that authenticity, he blossoms. This kind of woman never begs for attention. She doesn't manipulate with jealousy or guilt. If she feels distance growing, she speaks up calmly and honestly. She knows how to express her needs without turning them into demands. She communicates, but she never controls. And because of that, a man feels safe to open up to her, to be vulnerable, and to come closer on his own terms. When a man feels free with a woman yet emotionally connected, something powerful happens. He begins to associate her with peace, with home, with someone who elevates him rather than confines him. That kind of emotional environment is rare, and when he finds it, he does everything to protect it. It's important to understand that giving space is not the same as being distant. This woman is very present. She is attentive, affectionate, and deeply engaged. But she also understands that clinging is not love. Needing constant control or reassurance is a symptom of fear, not connection. So instead of micromanaging the relationship, she nurtures it with trust and intention. She has a life of her own. A life that she loves and protects. She doesn't revolve around him, and she doesn't expect him to revolve around her. She knows that two complete individuals coming together can create a love that is powerful, healthy, and long-lasting. She's not looking for someone to complete her, but someone to grow with her. And this confidence, this calm strength, makes a man want to be around her more. He feels proud to call her his partner. Not because she pressures him or demands loyalty, but because he genuinely wants to stay close. He knows she doesn't need to control him to keep him. He stays because her energy feels like clarity, not chaos. Over time, this kind of woman becomes irreplaceable. She's not just someone he dates, she becomes someone he respects on a deep level. Because she trusted him, he becomes more trustworthy. Because she believed in him, he believes in himself more. Her love does not cage him, it liberates him. And that freedom becomes the foundation for something real. So many relationships fall apart not because of infidelity or major betrayal, but because one partner feels trapped, controlled, unseen. This woman avoids that fate because she understands a fundamental truth: people stay where they feel free, loved, and respected. And she provides all three, without losing herself in the process. She doesn't threaten to leave to test his loyalty. She doesn't create drama to get his attention. She simply lives with grace and integrity. And if he falters, she will speak with honesty, not blame. If he disrespects her boundaries, she will walk away, not plead. Because her love is deep, but her self-respect is deeper. In the end, what keeps a man isn't pressure, it's peace. It's knowing that the woman by his side doesn't just love him, but also trusts him. It's knowing that she's strong enough to stand alone, but chooses to stand with him. That is what makes her unforgettable. She doesn't control, but her presence is so powerful that he wants to stay anyway. If you are still watching the video, do not hesitate to comment continue. Leave your thoughts and questions below in the comment section. I look forward to hearing your opinions, and do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel so that Sophia has more motivation to create more good and meaningful videos. Let's continue together. Number 3. You communicate gracefully and make him feel respected. One of the most powerful qualities a woman can have is the ability to communicate with grace. It's not just about what she says, it's how she says it. Her tone, her timing, her intention, all of it adds up to something rare and deeply attractive. Especially to a man who craves not just love, but respect. Respect is the cornerstone of every healthy relationship, and it often reveals itself through everyday communication. A woman who understands this doesn't use her words to belittle or criticize. She doesn't lash out in anger or use silence as a weapon. Instead, she speaks with clarity, kindness, and intention. And in doing so, she makes a man feel safe, seen, and valued. A man may be strong, confident, and capable, but beneath that exterior, he still needs to feel respected by the woman he loves. He wants to feel that his thoughts matter, that his efforts are appreciated, and that he is not constantly under scrutiny. A woman who knows how to affirm these things through her words creates a bond that goes beyond attraction, it builds trust. This kind of woman does not shy away from expressing her needs or concerns. But she does so in a way that invites connection, not conflict. When something bothers her, she doesn't attack. She asks questions. She shares her feelings instead of casting blame. She knows that true communication is about understanding, not overpowering. And because of this, her voice carries weight. She listens, truly listens, when he speaks. She doesn't just wait for her turn to talk. She gives him space to open up, to explain himself, to be vulnerable without fear of being judged. And when he does speak, she acknowledges his words, even if she disagrees. She doesn't mock or dismiss. She responds with maturity, curiosity, and care. This kind of communication is rare. It's easy to argue, to criticize, or to demand. But it takes emotional intelligence to navigate a disagreement without turning it into a war. A woman who knows how to disagree without disrespecting earns a man's deepest admiration. Not because she always agrees, but because she shows she values the relationship more than the need to be right. When a man feels respected, he becomes more open, more generous, more emotionally available. He feels safe to be himself without fear of being emasculated or misunderstood. And when that happens, he begins to associate the woman with a kind of peace he doesn't find elsewhere. That peace becomes addictive. A woman who communicates with grace also knows the power of timing. She doesn't try to have deep conversations when emotions are running high. She chooses her moments wisely. She understands that sometimes silence is more powerful than words, and that not everything needs an immediate reaction. She is thoughtful, not reactive. She also knows when to affirm and appreciate. She doesn't take his efforts for granted. Whether it's a small gesture or a major decision, she acknowledges his contributions. A simple thank you, a gentle compliment, a word of encouragement, these things matter. They may seem small, but to a man, they are signs of deep respect and appreciation. Over time, this kind of communication builds a foundation of emotional safety. He doesn't just feel physically close, he feels emotionally connected. He trusts her not just with his heart, but with his vulnerabilities. And that is a rare and precious bond. This woman also knows how to lift him up in public. She doesn't criticize him in front of others. She doesn't make sarcastic comments that cut him down. Instead, she uplifts him. She supports him. She makes him feel proud to have her by his side. And that kind of loyalty and grace leaves a lasting impact. Of course, she also holds her standards. Respect goes both ways. She won't tolerate ongoing disrespect. She communicates clearly when boundaries are crossed. But even in moments of confrontation, she remains composed. She doesn't scream, threaten, or manipulate. She simply speaks her truth, and lets her actions speak even louder when needed. Ultimately, what sets this woman apart is not just her ability to communicate, but her intention behind it. She speaks to connect, not control. She listens to understand, not to defend. She chooses words that heal, not words that wound. And in doing so, she earns a kind of love that is built not on fear or pressure, but on genuine respect. Men don't always remember every word you say, but they never forget how your words made them feel. A woman who can speak truth with kindness, express emotions with maturity, and hold space for his voice becomes unforgettable. She becomes the one he turns to when life is heavy. The one whose voice soothes rather than stings. The one who understands that love without respect is hollow. So if you can communicate in a way that makes a man feel heard, honored, and respected, you won't have to fight for his loyalty. You'll already have it. Number 4. You have an admirable life of your own. There is something undeniably magnetic about a woman who has built a life she truly loves. A life filled with purpose, passion, and fulfillment. She doesn't wait for a man to bring meaning into her world, she brings meaning into her own life, and that alone makes her irresistible. This kind of woman is not defined by her relationship status. She doesn't need a man to feel complete because she already feels whole. Her life is not on pause waiting for someone to save her or elevate her. She is already thriving. She's already moving forward, growing, and becoming more of who she wants to be every single day. When a man meets a woman like this, it leaves a lasting impression. He realizes she doesn't need him, she wants him. And that difference changes everything. She is not desperate to be chosen. She is discerning about who she allows into her world, because her world is meaningful with or without romance. A woman with an admirable life doesn't abandon her dreams for love. She doesn't shrink her goals to make someone else feel comfortable. Instead, she pursues her ambitions with passion and integrity. Whether it's her career, her art, her health, or her personal development, she shows up for herself consistently. That dedication is not only inspiring, it's contagious. Men deeply respect women who are driven. A woman who wakes up with purpose, who challenges herself, and who keeps evolving becomes someone worth admiring. She brings something to the table that goes beyond beauty or charm, she brings substance. She has stories to tell, ideas to share, and experiences that have shaped her into someone complex and intriguing. She also values her time. Her schedule isn't wide open waiting for someone to entertain her. She has passions, friends, routines, and rituals that matter to her. This doesn't mean she's too busy for love, it means that she values balance. She knows that to truly love someone else, she must first love the life she's living. This kind of woman doesn't chase. She attracts. Not because she's playing games, but because her energy is centered. She's not constantly reaching out, seeking reassurance, or molding herself to fit into someone else's world. She stands firmly in her own. And because of that, the right kind of man feels honored just to be a part of it. Her confidence is quiet but unmistakable. She walks into a room with the calm assurance of someone who knows her worth. Not because she says it out loud, but because it's reflected in how she carries herself, how she speaks, and how she chooses to live. She doesn't try to impress. She simply is impressive. She also inspires the man she's with to become more. Being around her makes him want to level up, not because she demands it, but because her example challenges him. She's not trying to change him, but her presence makes him want to grow. That kind of influence is rare and powerful. And because she has a full life, she doesn't lose herself in a relationship. She doesn't abandon her identity to become someone else's everything. She brings her whole self to the table, and she expects the same in return. She wants a partner, not a savior. She desires companionship, not dependency. This woman also handles space with grace. She doesn't panic when a man needs time to himself, because she enjoys her own company. She doesn't interpret silence as rejection, because she knows the difference between solitude and neglect. Her emotional balance comes from within, not from how much attention she's getting on any given day. In a world where so many people are looking for someone to fill a void, she fills her own. Her joy is not conditional. Her peace is not dependent. Her sense of self is not tied to how someone else treats her. That emotional independence is what makes her so captivating. A man who enters her life doesn't feel pressure to be everything for her, he feels inspired to be his best because she already is. And that shift in dynamic builds something beautiful. A relationship based not on need, but on mutual admiration. Not on fear of loneliness, but on the joy of sharing life with someone who's already complete. She is proof that a woman doesn't have to dim her light to be loved. In fact, the more she embraces her life, the brighter she shines. And that light naturally draws in someone who not only respects her, but sees her as a partner worth growing with. So if you are this kind of woman, or becoming her, know this: you are not too much. You are not intimidating. You are radiant. And the right man will not only notice your beautiful life, he will feel lucky to be invited into it. Number 5. You are emotionally stable and handle situations with maturity. There's a quiet strength in emotional stability, a power that doesn't scream or demand, but instead commands respect through calmness and composure. A woman who is emotionally stable and handles situations with maturity becomes a sanctuary for the man she's with. In a world full of chaos and unpredictability, she becomes his peace. Emotional stability doesn't mean you never feel anger, sadness, or frustration. It means you don't let those emotions control your actions. You feel deeply, but you respond instead of react. You take a moment to breathe before speaking. You choose your words with intention. And in doing so, you build trust, not just with others, but within yourself. Men are instinctively drawn to women who provide emotional consistency. This doesn't mean you're emotionless, it means you're emotionally intelligent. You know when to speak and when to stay silent. You know how to express your needs without turning them into ultimatums. You don't let minor issues escalate into unnecessary arguments. This kind of woman doesn't play mind games. She doesn't use guilt or passive-aggressive tactics to get her way. When something bothers her, she says it with clarity and calmness. She doesn't expect her partner to read her mind or chase her down during silent treatments. She communicates, not to manipulate, but to create understanding. She also knows how to self-soothe. When she's overwhelmed, she doesn't unleash her emotions onto others. She takes time to reflect, journal, walk, or simply sit with her thoughts. She doesn't demand that others fix her feelings, she takes responsibility for them. This makes her not only attractive, but trustworthy. A woman who is emotionally mature doesn't seek constant reassurance. She doesn't crumble at the first sign of conflict. She doesn't interpret every delay in response or every difference in opinion as rejection. Instead, she gives space. She listens. She asks questions before assuming. And because of that, she creates an environment where real intimacy can flourish. For a man, this is incredibly grounding. He doesn't feel like he's constantly walking on eggshells. He doesn't worry that one wrong word will trigger a meltdown. Instead, he feels safe to be himself, knowing that disagreements won't turn into emotional warfare. That safety allows him to open up in ways he never could before. Emotional maturity also shows up in how she handles disappointment. Life won't always go as planned. People make mistakes. Plans fall apart. But instead of blaming, panicking, or lashing out, she adapts. She doesn't spiral into negativity or dwell in victimhood. She sees challenges as opportunities for growth. She leads with resilience. This doesn't mean she suppresses her emotions or pretends to be okay when she's not. It means she chooses not to let temporary emotions cause permanent damage. She understands that how she handles the hard moments defines the strength of her character and the future of her relationships. This kind of emotional presence is rare. It's easy to act calm when everything is going well. But it's in the moments of stress, disappointment, or miscommunication that true maturity is revealed. And a woman who can maintain her grace under pressure earns a kind of respect that beauty alone can never command. She also knows how to forgive. Not because she's weak, but because she understands that holding on to resentment only poisons her own peace. When mistakes happen, she addresses them directly and decides whether to move forward or move on. But she does so without spite. Without drama. Without turning every issue into a personal attack. A woman with emotional stability doesn't try to control everything. She accepts that she cannot change people, only how she responds to them. That acceptance brings peace. And in that peace, she becomes even more powerful. Men don't want perfection, they want peace. They want someone who can weather life's storms with them, not someone who becomes a storm. A woman who is calm, thoughtful, and centered becomes the emotional anchor in his life. And in return, he becomes more grounded, more generous, and more emotionally available. This woman doesn't chase validation. She doesn't need constant affection to feel worthy. She knows her worth regardless of who is or isn't affirming it at the moment. That self-assurance makes her less reactive, more patient, and infinitely more magnetic. Over time, this emotional maturity sets her apart. She becomes the woman he calls first when things get hard, not just because she listens, but because she doesn't make it about herself. She becomes the one he trusts with his fears, his dreams, and his failures. Not because she's emotionless, but because her emotions are steady and reliable. She may not always say the most, but her presence says everything. Her calm energy speaks louder than words. Her ability to remain composed in tough moments shows that she's not just a partner, she's a foundation. And in a world that often feels unstable, that kind of woman is priceless. So if you are this kind of woman, or learning to become her, know this: your calmness is not weakness. Your patience is not passivity. Your steady energy is a gift, not just to the man you love, but to everyone around you. Number 6. You are there when he needs you, but you never lose yourself. One of the most powerful balances a woman can master in a relationship is the ability to be deeply supportive without ever losing her identity. She knows how to be present when her man needs her, yet she never allows her own needs, values, or boundaries to disappear. This balance is rare, and it's what makes her truly unforgettable. A woman like this offers emotional presence without dependency. When he's struggling, she shows up. When he's celebrating, she stands beside him with genuine pride. When he's quiet, she gives space. And when he reaches out, she listens with care. Her love is steady, not smothering. She is his support system, not his emotional crutch. She understands that being there for someone doesn't mean abandoning yourself. She doesn't put her dreams on hold. She doesn't let her entire world revolve around him. Instead, she creates a partnership built on mutual strength. She is dependable, but not dependent. She gives without depleting herself. This kind of woman knows that real love isn't about constant sacrifice, it's about harmony. She makes time for him, but she also honors her own time. She encourages his goals, but never lets go of her own. She stands by him, but she never stands behind him. She walks beside him, equally strong, equally whole. For a man, this is both comforting and inspiring. He knows she's not with him out of need, but out of choice. She isn't clinging to him for identity. She's not afraid to be alone. She's not staying out of fear, she's staying out of love. That kind of loyalty, grounded in self-respect, builds a bond far stronger than obligation. When he goes through hard times, she doesn't panic. She doesn't try to fix everything. Instead, she offers presence, calm, and understanding. She doesn't make his pain about her. She doesn't guilt him into feeling better. She simply holds space, strong, grounded, and present. And that presence often speaks louder than any advice ever could. She's emotionally available, but she's not emotionally entangled. She doesn't absorb his mood or lose herself in his problems. She listens. She cares. But she also sets healthy emotional boundaries. She can support without sinking. She can care deeply without being consumed. This emotional resilience makes her a rock in the relationship. At the same time, she knows her limits. She knows when giving becomes too much. She's not afraid to say, "I need a moment for myself." She's not ashamed to ask for support in return. Her strength isn't in pretending she's always okay, it's in her ability to stay true to herself even in the midst of love. This woman doesn't lose herself in love, she finds more of herself through it. Her relationship is not a substitute for self-worth, but an extension of it. She knows who she is, what she values, and where she's going. And because of that, she brings clarity into the relationship rather than confusion. For a man, this kind of presence is grounding. It makes him feel safe. It makes him feel respected. He knows that she's not going to vanish when things get hard, but he also knows that she won't tolerate being taken for granted. She's steady, but not passive. Loving, but not self-sacrificing. Loyal, but not lost. She is the kind of woman who encourages him to grow, not because she demands change, but because she leads by example. Her life, her presence, her energy all inspire a higher standard. And when he falls short, she doesn't lash out, she communicates. When he's overwhelmed, she doesn't pressure, she supports. When he's joyful, she doesn't compete, she celebrates. She is a partner, not a passenger. She contributes, not just consumes. She shares the emotional labor of a relationship, but she never makes herself small to keep things peaceful. She stands in her truth, and because she does, she brings out the best in him. This balance, being supportive while staying self-anchored, is what gives her presence so much power. She doesn't disappear into love. She doesn't become someone else to be loved. She shows up as her whole self. And in doing so, she gives him permission to do the same. When a man finds a woman like this, he knows she is rare. He knows she's not easy to replace. Not because she gives endlessly, but because she gives authentically. Not because she needs him to survive, but because she chooses him freely, without attachment, without fear, and without losing her identity in the process. In the end, what keeps a man coming back is not just how much a woman gives, it's how she gives without losing herself. Her ability to love with depth while holding on to her individuality is what makes her extraordinary. And that's the kind of woman he doesn't just admire, he holds on to for life. Conclusion. In a world where relationships often come and go, the woman a man truly cherishes is not the one who is the most perfect, but the one who is the most authentic. It's not about being overly accommodating or sacrificing everything for love. It's about knowing your worth, standing in your truth, and choosing to love without losing yourself in the process. She doesn't beg for affection, doesn't try to control him, and never becomes a shadow in the relationship. Instead, she becomes a light, the kind of presence that brings peace, depth, and strength. Her emotional maturity, her independence, her purpose-driven life, and her ability to love without attachment make her unforgettable. She is there when he needs her, but never at the cost of abandoning herself. She listens, supports, and nurtures, but also knows when to step back, when to protect her own peace, and when to let go with grace. That balance between giving and preserving herself is what sets her apart. When a man experiences this kind of woman, he doesn't see her as just another partner. He sees her as rare, as someone he is lucky to have in his life. She challenges him to grow, but never demands it. She inspires him to become better, simply by being true to herself. Men may be drawn to appearance, but they cherish the woman whose inner strength, self-respect, and emotional intelligence leave a lasting mark on their soul. You don't have to fight to be loved. When you become a woman of value, love flows to you naturally, and it stays. Be that woman. Not by trying to be everything for someone else, but by becoming everything you were meant to be for yourself. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. Hopefully the sharing about love and lessons from this video will help you have new thoughts and find empathy. If you find the video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and share it with those around you. Each of us has our own stories about love, and I'm happy to explore them with you. See you in the next videos. Wish you a wonderful and loving day.